Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another Halloween Horror Nights video. I've had a few people reach out on Twitter, Instagram, that sort of thing, saying it's their first time this year, Halloween Horror Nights. They don't know what to expect. Have I got any tips for beginners? How can they make the most of their time? Some people are only going for one night, some people have got like the multiple night tickets. So I thought I would just do this video and give you my top 5 tips for Halloween Horror Nights, so let's go. So my first tip is a thing called Stay and Scream. If you have a daytime ticket and a standalone like HHN ticket, you can do something called Stay and Scream, which means you can stay inside of Universal and you don't have to leave while they're set up for like Halloween Horror Nights, like the general public who just have a HHN ticket. Because believe it or not, some people just visit Universal Resort just for Halloween Horror Nights that don't have the daytime ticket to get in, and you will go into something called a holding pen. The event officially starts at 6:30 p.m, but sometimes the gates open at 6 p.m. That means you're going to be staying inside of Universal until them gates open. So there's designated Stay and Scream locations within Universal Studios that you go to whilst they clear all the daytime guests out and set all the props up that go into the streets for the scare zones. One of the areas is Springfield, Simpsons Land. You can hang out there. You have to scan your ticket to get into a Stay and Scream to prove that you've got the daytime ticket and the nighttime ticket, and you'll go into like a sort of holding pen. The Simpsons one, I do believe you can get a drink in there, but it's been a while since I've been to the Springfield one. I don't think you can actually leave to go into Moe's. I think it's at the other side, so I'm not too sure if you can get food there. Someone leave a comment down below and correct us if I'm wrong. The next area that you can go to is the New York area, which is Finnegan's. That seems to be the more popular area because there's a like restaurant there, Finnegan's restaurant. You can get food and drink there. It's always really busy though, and we tend to have to like stand outside because there's not a lot of space inside, but it's got like a full bar and you can get all your liquor there and stuff like that. That gives you entrance to some of the soundstage houses because that's the closest to the front of the park, so that tends to be the most popular zone. Another zone which is at the front of the park as well is the Hello Kitty area, located outside of the Hello Kitty store. That's another area where they have Stay and Scream, and that gives you access to some more soundstage houses as well, which tend to be the most busiest. They're the biggest houses and they tend to put the biggest properties, the biggest IPs in them sound stages. So that gives you like access to them houses before the park officially opens to the standalone ticket guests. So like I said, the event starts at 6:30, but the gates sometimes open at 6 p.m. From the Stay and Scream holding pens, you sort of get released around 5:45, so that gives you like 15 minutes to half an hour to get houses done. You'll be directed into which houses you can go to, because some houses don't open until the event starts, but the houses that they lead you to, you can get them done in effect before the park opens to the rest of the guests that have got the ticket only. So that's like 2 to 3 houses you can get ticked off your list before the park even opens, which is a great bonus. So in at number 4 is be respectful of the actors who work there, the scare actors and even the staff. It's an alcohol fueled event, so people like tend to not know their limits and be really disrespectful to the scare actors. If you do want to like take a selfie with them, that's fine. They will stop. Some of them are in character, so some of them won't. Like last year, the Grady sisters, they played a really good part in that they didn't really stop for photos and they just kept moving around, so you had to be lucky. Again, respect them. If they are in character, don't force them, don't grab them, don't touch the scare actors. There was an instance last year where I was in one of the houses with a few friends. There was about 8 of us going through, I think it was Hive, I'm not too sure, and we came out and a staff member followed us out, stopped us, and we had, well, my friend had got accused of kicking a scare actor, which is something that none of us in our party would ever do. Nobody had even touched a sip of alcohol because they were driving. And we got accused of that, and we're like, well, no, that wasn't us, you know. But the scare actor had reported that somebody had kicked them and they had mistaken it for us. So it is going on inside the houses. There's loads of horrible stories going around of scare actors being abused physically and verbally. A lot of people now with this day and age of technology take a lot of photos at the event. They like pictures with the scare actors because the costumes are that good and that detailed. It does make a good Insta post, but again, just be respectful. do it from a distance. They are trying to do a job at the end of the day, and their job is to scare you. Doubt number 3, and it's going to sound silly, but it is to stay hydrated. Florida is a really hot place, even at night time. With the sun not being out, you'll not like notice how warm it is. But Halloween Horror Nights is like 9 out of 10 times really hot. And with the alcohol going, a lot of people again don't know their limits and drink far too much. Last year especially, I saw like a lot of people like getting attended to by like paramedics and stuff like that, and it just like spoils the vibe of the event. You know, people don't know their limits when they're drinking. And also as well, if you're just drinking beer and in the heat you're sweating it out and you're not really getting hydrated, there is water being sold all over the park, and there's water fountains as well. So stay hydrated, have a good time, and look after yourself and be safe. So if you've never been to Halloween Horror Nights before and you're really scared and really nervous, it took me years to get Becca to convince Becca to come to Halloween Horror Nights, because she's not into the whole like being scared sort of thing. They do a tour called Unmasking the Horror, and you get toured through some of the houses during the day with the lights on, and you can also see how the creative team have built the house, stories, things about the house that you wouldn't even see in the dark. And in my eyes, that's the best tip for anyone who wants to do Halloween Horror Nights but isn't quite sure if they can cope with that much intensity. It's good because inside of the tour you can get to see all the boo holes, the peek holes, where all the scare actors jump out and get you. So if you remember, you can go through the house when it's in the dark, and you know where the scare actors are sort of going to come from. But again, the set designs are that like in depth that during the day you'll get to see them a lot more with the lights on. You can't video record in them, but you can take photos in some of the houses, depending on what houses they do. They set the houses, I think. I'm not too sure if you can pick the houses. I can't remember if that changed or not. You go to the Orlando Horror Nights website. I'll leave it in the link below. You can check out the full details and pricing there. And there's a 3-house tour and a 6-house tour. Obviously the 6-house is probably going to be more expensive, and obviously a longer tour. But that's my number 1 tip. If you're scared to go to Halloween Horror Nights, that will ease you into it. You can see how it's done, and the event isn't really terrifying. You are going to get a jump scare, but it's not going to kill you at the end of the day. So that's my top 5 tips for sort of beginners. Even if you've been before, you might not have known about Stay and Scream or something like that. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Are you excited? Let me know what your favourite house is going to be this year, most anticipated scare zone. They've just announced the Academy of Villains theme, which is going to be cyberpunk, which is going to be really vivid, cool 80s dance show, which obviously we've grown to love at Halloween Horror Nights from Academy of Villains. And at the time of filming this video, Horror Nights have just announced the annual pass holder merch. I have last year's annual pass holder shirt on now. I wasn't that keen on the design, I just wanted the AP shirt. But this year the merch is looking a lot better. It's got a sort of 80s font theme on with like a twisted pumpkin. I'll just put a picture up here. So here's a t-shirt and here's the pin. Those are exclusive to annual pass holders. So leave a comment down below, let us know what you think. Are you excited? Is it your first time? And we'll see you next time, and remember, stay tuned.